Sole goal is to get Kelsey out in front of everyone. Like I said, she doesn't run off, and someone knows where she's at. Kelsey, we just want you home. Call us if you can, and we won't quit looking.
In November 2018, Kelsey Berreth, a 29-year-old pilot and devoted mother, vanished from her home in Woodland Park, Colorado, just after celebrating Thanksgiving. The case began as a puzzling disappearance with her fiancé named Patrick Frazee. But as investigators dug deeper, they revealed a web of deception, manipulation, and gruesome violence that shocked the nation. What led to Kelsey's tragic fate, and how did a promising life filled with love and ambition end so suddenly? Let's get into the details of a case that revealed the darkest depths of betrayal and cruelty.
There's blood everywhere. There are bloody footprints everywhere. And Crystal cleans up blood, but leaves behind some telltale evidence for our investigators to find.
Kelsey Berreth was a vibrant, loving, and accomplished woman who was deeply admired by those who knew her. She was born on September 15, 1989. She grew up in Moses Lake, Washington, where she was raised in a close-knit and supportive family. Her parents, named Cheryl Lee and Daryl Berreth, instilled in her strong values which include kindness, hard work, and resilience. She was particularly close to her mother, who later became a firm advocate for justice after Kelsey's tragic death. Kelsey excelled academically and was known for her cheerful personality and determination. After high school, she pursued a career in aviation, a passion that combined her love for adventure with her intellectual curiosity. Kelsey worked hard to become a flight instructor, which earned her pilot's license, and she dedicated herself to helping others learn to fly. She eventually took a position with DOS Aviation in Pueblo, Colorado, where she trained U.S. Air Force cadets.
Kind, sweet girl who was spunky and playful, shy at first, but was really easy to get along with. I'm just thankful for...
Her career was a source of pride, but her most cherished role was being a mother. In 2017, Kelsey gave birth to her daughter named Kaylee with her fiancé. Friends and family described her as a devoted mother who always prioritized her child's well-being. She was excited about her future and deeply committed to building a stable and happy life for Kaylee. Despite her outwardly happy demeanor, Kelsey faced challenges in her personal life. Her relationship with Frazee, which began as a whirlwind romance, became increasingly strained over time. Those close to Kelsey noticed signs of Frazee's controlling and manipulative behavior, though she rarely spoke about the difficulties she faced. Kelsey was a private person who believed in making her family work, but her efforts were met with little reciprocity from Frazee.
Was Patrick emotionally abusive?
It appeared that way from what I saw, and it seemed like it was just knocking her spirit down.
Did Kelsey ever say he was physically abusive?
No.
Kelsey's move to Woodland Park, Colorado, was intended to be a fresh start. She purchased a townhouse and worked hard to provide a loving home for her daughter. She maintained close ties with her family in Washington, often speaking with her mother and visiting during holidays. Cheryl Lee described Kelsey as an incredibly selfless individual who always put others first and worked tirelessly to achieve her goals. Kelsey's dedication to her family, career, and daughter painted the picture of a woman full of hope and ambition.
I still know somebody knows where she's at. Somebody has seen her. There's more information out there. Somebody just needs to realize, to recognize, and to say something.
Has she ever disappeared before?
No.
Kelsey Berreth was last seen alive on November 22, 2018, on Thanksgiving Day. Surveillance footage captured her shopping with her 1-year-old daughter at a local Safeway. She later returned home to prepare for Thanksgiving dinner, which she was reportedly planning to have with her fiancé. This seemingly normal day would tragically mark the end of Kelsey's life. Her sudden disappearance raised immediate concerns among her family, who described her as responsible and devoted to her daughter. When Kelsey failed to respond to calls or texts for several days, her mother contacted Frazee. He initially claimed that Kelsey had broken off their relationship on Thanksgiving and wanted to give him space, a story that would later revealed as a fabricated cover-up for her murder.
What did you talk about that day?
Always just small things. And initially, she needed a recipe.
Based on that conversation, there was nothing to make you believe there was anything wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, her voice was fine. It was a normal day for her.
Frazee became the prime suspect in the investigation after inconsistencies in his story began to surface. His initial claims about Kelsey's disappearance started to reveal when cell phone records showed her phone had traveled to Gooding, Idaho, 3 days after she was last seen. The discovery of this strange activity raised serious doubts about his innocence. Suspicion grew further when investigators uncovered that Frazee had involved his former girlfriend named Crystal Lee Kenny, who was an Idaho nurse. Kenny had been in contact with Frazee in the days following Kelsey's disappearance, and cell phone records revealed they had communicated extensively.
Defense attorneys pointed out all the opportunities where Lee could have told someone about the alleged murder plot and questioned why she didn't tell law enforcement what happened until a plea deal was reached.
As the investigation deepened, Kenny eventually confessed to her role in the crime, driven by feelings of guilt, revealed details about the murder. She explained that Frazee had carefully planned the killing and had tried to involve her in the act on 3 separate occasions. Despite her refusal to directly participate, Kenny became complicit when Frazee enlisted her to help clean up the crime scene. Kenny's testimony played a crucial role in piecing together the horrifying sequence of events that ultimately led to Frazee's arrest.
Today was a little more clinical. We talked a lot about evidence this morning with Crystal Lee. She walked the jury through photos and videos of various crime scenes. So, for example, she pointed out with some pictures on a projector on the wall where she found blood inside Kelsey's home and how she cleaned it up.
The horrifying details of Kelsey's murder were revealed throughout the investigation, shedding light on the brutality of the crime. According to the testimony of Crystal Lee Kenny, Frazee attacked Kelsey in her townhouse while their young daughter was in another room, unaware of the impending violence. Frazee wrapped a sweater around Kelsey's head, muffling her screams, before savagely hitting her with a baseball bat. He struck her repeatedly, each blow intensifying the brutality until Kelsey was left lifeless. The attack was so violent that blood spattered across everywhere.
I had been instructed to try to wash things, and I didn't do that.
You said a towel?
There might have been a couple of towels that I put inside the washing machine, but they were just towels from dirty laundry. They weren't.
The following day, Kenny, who had been enlisted by Frazee to clean the crime scene, entered Kelsey's townhouse. What she found inside was nothing short of a nightmare. Blood was splattered on nearly every surface on the toilet, bathtub, vanity, walls, towel rack, electrical outlet, and even inside a trash can. Kenny described the scene as horrific, the remnants of Kelsey's life staining the home she had once shared with Frazee. Under Frazee's orders, Kenny spent hours meticulously scrubbing the area, trying to erase any trace of the violent act. She disposed of blood-soaked items, including Kelsey's daughter's toys, in an attempt to cover up the crime.
I didn't see anything. I was specifically told to clean the bathroom.
Okay.
But I didn't see anything. There might have been blood. There was a lot of blood. So they're on the floor, all over the floor.
However, despite Kenny's efforts to clean and remove evidence, investigators later found traces of Kelsey's blood in multiple locations throughout the house. The bloodstains told a chilling story of the viciousness of the attack and the cold, calculated actions of Frazee. The forensic evidence, paired with Kenny's confession, painted a horror picture of a crime that was both brutal and premeditated. These discoveries underscored the depths of Frazee's cruelty and the terrifying nature of the murder he had planned. The details of Kelsey's final moments would forever haunt those who uncovered the truth behind her tragic death.
Do you remember the fireplace and where about on the fireplace if, because I think you said in the interview there was some blood
On the rough outlet.
Watch yourself.
Frazee's actions after the murder revealed a worst level of premeditation and heartlessness. After killing Kelsey, he placed her lifeless body into a black tote bag and stored it in a stack of hay on a nearby farm. Astonishingly, he continued with his life as if nothing had happened, by attending a Thanksgiving dinner with his family. This brazen act of normalcy showed his complete disregard for the crime he had committed.
We watched body camera video of Crystal showing law enforcement around Patrick Frazee's property. This is in December, after about the time he's been arrested. They were showing her, and she was showing them where he allegedly burned Kelsey's body.
Days later, Frazee moved Kelsey's body to water through on the property. He poured gasoline and added pieces of wood before setting the trough on fire. Thick, black smoke poured into the air as the flames consumed the body. Once the fire had burned out, Frazee sifted through the ashes, collecting any remaining evidence to destroy. According to Crystal Lee Kenny's testimony, he then disposed of what was left, either in a landfill or a nearby river. Frazee's actions illustrated a deliberate and calculated attempt to eliminate all traces of his crime, which demonstrated a disturbing indifference to the life he had taken and the havoc he had caused.
Showing investigators where Berreth's body was allegedly burned at Frazee's Florissant Ranch.
The things that were thrown into the fire by me were the belongings from Kelsey's house, the curtains, the pillows, the stuffed animals, the cleaning supplies,
Frazee's motive for the murder seemed to stem from a bitter custody dispute over his daughter. He had repeatedly expressed concerns about Kelsey's fitness as a mother, claiming she was abusive and used drugs, which were false accusations with no evidence to support them. According to a wrongful death lawsuit filed by Kelsey's parents, Frazee sought full custody of Kaylee and believed that killing Kelsey was the only way to secure it.
That Kelsey wanted to go their separate ways and things weren't working out between them. They wanted to split custody 50-50, and they were just not meshing anymore.
Court documents revealed that Frazee had previously attempted to enlist Crystal Lee Kenny to murder Kelsey on 3 separate occasions. On one of these occasions, Frazee suggested poisoning Kelsey's coffee, and on others, he proposed using a pipe or baseball bat to carry out the crime. Despite Kenny's refusal each time, Frazee's determination grew, and he ultimately decided to take matters into his own hands. His obsession with gaining full custody of Kaylee drove him down a dark and twisted path, culminating in the brutal murder of Kelsey Berreth. This horrific act shattered a family and set off a chain of events that ultimately exposed his carefully constructed facade.
Frazee also faces 3 counts of solicitation to commit murder in the months leading up to Berreth's disappearance. Court documents not giving any details about who he approached or insight as to why prosecutors think Frazee is responsible for his fiancé's death.
Frazee's efforts to cover up his crime went beyond simply cleaning the crime scene. He manipulated Crystal Lee Kenny into taking Kelsey's cell phone and disposing of it in Idaho. Once in Idaho, Kenny used the phone to send a series of misleading text messages. One of these messages, sent to Kelsey's employer, falsely claimed that Kelsey wouldn't be coming to work. Another message, sent to Frazee, was designed to make it appear as if Kelsey was still alive and communicating with him.
Then there's the text seized from Frazee's phone, showing the two apparently talking between the 22nd and 25th, discussing relationship issues. The action, police and cell phone expert Mark Poff now identify as a distraction tactic.
However, the investigation soon revealed the holes in Frazee's fabricated story. Surveillance footage and cell phone records contradicted his claims. Kenny's phone was traced to the area near Kelsey's townhouse on the day after the murder, placing her in the vicinity when Frazee had claimed Kelsey was missing. Additionally, video footage showed Frazee and Kenny together at a gas station, where Frazee purchased gasoline that would later be used to burn Kelsey's remains. These pieces of evidence painted a damning picture of Frazee's involvement and undermined the false narrative he had tried to construct. The mounting evidence made it clear that Frazee had gone to great lengths to cover up his horrific crime.
And the only thing that was put on the record is, by Colorado law, this particular charge is a charge that carries no mandatory sentence at all. It is something that will be totally up to the judge. And the court noted on the record that both sides will have an opportunity at her sentencing to express our opinions on what she ought to face.
In December 2018, Patrick Frazee was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of solicitation to commit murder, and tampering with a deceased human body. Prosecutors pursued 2 murder charges, one alleging Frazee acted alone, and the other suggesting he may have collaborated with others during a robbery. Crystal Lee Kenny, Frazee's former lover, played a pivotal role as a key witness. Having pleaded guilty to evidence tampering, Kenny detailed Frazee's premeditated plan to murder Kelsey Berreth, including his attempts to involve her in the crime and the steps he took to dispose of the body. Although she expressed remorse for her actions, Kenny faced public outrage for her role in the crime.
As part of a plea bargain, she was serving 3 years in that case, but a judge now says her sentence exceeded the maximum term. She will need to be resentenced. Investigators say that she provided evidence on how Patrick Frazee killed Kelsey Berreth at Woodland Park in 2018, then cleaned up the crime scene.
Frazee's trial concluded in November 2019, when he was convicted on all charges. The court sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole, along with an additional 156 years for his actions. The judge condemned the crime as vicious and senseless, a statement that resonated deeply with Kelsey's grieving family. Kelsey's parents were granted custody of Kaylee, ensuring that she would be raised in a safe and loving environment. The case of Kelsey Berreth's murder highlighted systemic failures in addressing domestic violence. Her partner's controlling behavior went unchecked, leading to her tragic death. The incident sparked calls for greater awareness and preventive measures to protect individuals in abusive relationships. Kelsey's death served as a reminder of the importance of recognizing warning signs of abuse. While justice was served, her absence leaves a void for her loved ones. Her story urges society to confront domestic violence and work towards preventing such tragedies, honoring her memory and promoting a safer future for all.